Hello everyone and welcome to our new unit. My name is Mr. Vasquez and today I'll really be showing you around the site for our new unit plan, which we'll be diving into really shortly, the rise of post-World War I totalitarianism. Here on this web page, students and parents as well can access any useful links and other assignments which we'll be covering in class, which includes lectures as well. Anyone can access it at this address right here, totalitarianunitplan.weebly.com. Once again, this is open for everybody, and especially really helpful for students who would like to refer back to the plan for notes, assignments, and whatever it may be. So we're going to go ahead and explore this page just a little bit. So we're going to start right here at the unit summary. I'm not going to read this word for word, but basically this entails that students are really going to be learning about the three types of government that arose after World War I, which includes the Soviet Union, Fascist Italy, and the Nazi Germany. So students will be analyzing all three of their governments, as well as the leaders of each government, and really make connections about how these three connected with each other, how they had similarities, differences, and really just analyzing all of those and just seeing how all three of these had a major toll and large costs on the society itself without democracy really acting as a stable bloc. So we'll really be analyzing all of that. Once again, this is derived from grade level 10, Modern World History. These are the three leaders of each government that we're going to be studying. Right here we have Adolf Hitler of Nazi Germany, we have Joseph Stalin of the Soviet Union, as well as Benito Mussolini of Fascist Italy. So moving on down, these are the content standards that are taken directly out of the Common Core standards, which we all abide by. This is section 10.7, where students analyze the rise of totalitarian governments after World War I. And essentially throughout this unit, we're really going to be tracing the rise to power of these three leaders and how they built the type of government that governed each of their countries respectively. We're looking at the causes and consequences, especially of the Russian Revolution and other uprisings that resulted in these three totalitarian governments. Really focusing on Stalin to begin with, after the Russian Revolution, making connections between different economic policies, political policies, and other things such as the absence of a free press, which we normally wouldn't see in a society of democracy. And once again, analyzing all three of these totalitarian regimes to see how they took a major toll on all three countries at the end. So some student learning objectives, again, with these and the big ideas and questions down below, I'm not going to read all these word for word, but they really tie heavily into the content standards and the unit summary, really what's expected of each student, what they're expected to learn and really retain at the end of the unit plan. Really just analyzing all three forms of government, looking at their leaders, making connections to what they shared in common, how they differed, in every aspect such as that, and really looking at the huge toll, especially on human lives, that all three of these regimes had at the end of the day. So this is really what's to expect, an overview of the unit itself. So now we're going to explore the ribbon right here of different types of units, lesson plans, as well as assignments and assessments in which we'll assess student learning throughout the lesson. So to begin with, we're going to start with the Lessons tab actually right here. And we'll begin with Lesson 1, which is a teacher lecture. That's always exciting, right? So to begin with, this is actually going to be an online presentation using Prezi that I will conduct myself. The presentation can actually be accessed right here. You can just click this tab. I'm not going to pull it up, but anybody can access it without any code or anything like that. And along with this lecture, students are actually going to be taking guided notes, which can be downloaded right here. I'll go ahead and pull this up. Okay, so this is the guided notes right here. So you can see it's a few pages long. This is really going to analyze and give a big overview of what this whole unit itself looks like, starting with the Russians, the Germans, the Italians. And so as you can see right here, especially on the right-hand column, everything going down, for the most part, it's a lot of filling in the blank. But also, if we look on the left-hand column, not only do we see a lot of pictures, but we also see a lot of spaces where students are actually forced to, or I wouldn't say forced, but are required to answer these questions. And A lot of these answers are really going to be derived from their prior knowledge. They're going to be asked to make predictions, really anticipate what they think these pictures means along with these policies. So along with just filling the blank, they're really forced to really put out their good thinking and make connections. So they're going to be a lot more engaged than just following along through the lecture, just filling in the blanks. So we'll pull up the plan. So once again, the guided notes can be downloaded here, as well as the lecture in case if anybody needs to refer back to it. These guided notes will be turned in with all other completed work at the end of the unit itself. So with that said, we'll go ahead and move on to lesson 2, which is a Weber size. Okay, so this Weber size is usually a lot more favored than your traditional lecture or textbook readings, which can be kind of bland sometimes. So therefore, instead of doing anything derived out of a textbook, here we're actually going to be analyzing firsthand experiences of those that lived during this in the horror of the Soviet Union, the Nazi regime of Germany, as well as fascist Italy. And to do so, they're going to be completing this Weber size, which can also be downloaded right here, right onto their computer so that they can save it and whatnot. And so for each case, we have a story from the Soviet Union, fascist Italy, and Nazi Germany. So all that students are going to do, they're going to go ahead and click the link. So we'll start right here with fascist Italy. So all they do is just pull this up. As you can see, there's a lot of reading that these students will conduct. So we'll go back to the page itself. So obviously, as straightforward as it sounds, all they're going to be doing is pull up the link and answer the questions as they go along, relating to different topics of each government. So once again, this will be turned in and submitted for credit as well in the final homework packet at the end of the unit. If for some reason this link does not work right here, students can also find this Weber size document and just download it straight as a Word document through their computer as well. So this is unique, of course, just because students actually get to explore firsthand accounts of what people in these countries actually went through. All right, so that'll be for lesson 2. Now, moving on to the last lesson, which is a graphic organizer. Here we have a picture of Joseph Stalin. So here, as you can see, this is an example of the graphic organizer. It's a KWL chart. So if you look at these 3 columns, you have the first column that shows what I know, so really tapping into a student's prior knowledge of what they know about a subject. What I want to learn, so what the students want to learn as they go through the reading or whatever assignment may be. And then finally, what I learn in the third column right here, which is pieces and excerpts of the reading, videos, whatever it may be that students really build upon after their assigned reading. And it's cool just because students actually put forth what they want to learn, especially in the second one, so it can engage student interest. And so in this case, the KWL chart, students are going to be analyzing 3 events, one from each form of government. So right here we have the 3 links: Kristallnacht in Nazi Germany, the Ukraine famine in the Soviet Union, and the March on Rome in Italy. So students can click on any one of these links, pull it right on up. And so for each one, they'll be filling out a KWL chart. This is something that they will construct on their own. They're encouraged to make it nice and colorful, really decorate it, make it look nice and neat. And the rubric for each KWL chart can actually be downloaded right here. So I'll pull it up just to show you all an example. Okay, so as you can see, this assignment is out of 12 points. Really make sure to read through it. I encourage each student to go for a 4 for each section right here. The more points, the better your grade's going to be. So again, one KWL chart for each of these 3 events that took place in each government. So that's it with the lessons. Now we'll go ahead and move on to the assessments, how we're going to measure each section. Okay, so here's just a brief timeline. We have 1 entry-level assessment, 4 formative assessments. These will take place during the actual unit itself, really just to assess and measure how students as a whole are doing in the class. And then finally 2 summative assessments, which students will be working in groups, will be doing a lot of writing and researching just to prove that they retain all the knowledge possible of this unit, so that we can move on and develop a better understanding of these form of governments. The whole summary of how each activity and each assessment is going to take place right here. Feel free to read through that. Click on some of the links, take some of the quizzes. It's a lot of fun. All these units especially too. You can find the rubrics down here as well. All these assessments, not only will they measure student learning and make sure that everybody is caught up to date with each lesson presented, but it also makes sure that students are given time to really work in groups to focus on their presenting skills, the research, and collaboration as a whole, which is really important in student learning. All right, just moving forth, there's not a whole lot left right here. We have the unit resources. We have some fun Wix, links, gadgets right here. Here they can watch a little video, as well as analyze some of these other helpful links right here. A lot of them are trivia games, which is always really fun. Take time to get to know all three of the dictators. There's trivia quizzes on those, other useful PowerPoints, and other links in which students find really helpful. A lot of Quizlet terms in which students can look at vocab terms assigned for all three governments just to focus on key events. Just a lot of useful resources right here for students to refer to. And then finally, one last thing in the more section, we're going to look at the template itself. Okay, so this right here, again, once again, this is up for everybody to look at, so feel free to pull it up when you have the chance. This is an overview of everything that's going to be presented throughout the unit plan itself. Again, everything that we saw throughout the website, the big ideas, the unit objectives, the different type of assessments that we're going to be using to measure student knowledge and make sure that everybody is good, really to move on, and make sure that they're retaining the material. The teacher lecture here, we have the Weber size, and then finally the graphic organizer moving forward, and a bunch of useful links right here. So really, this is about it for the digital unit plan itself. This is once again a part of my website in general. So actually, if you go to the More tab, if you go to Mr. Vasquez's history class and just click the link, voila, we're back to the main page. You can easily navigate it. If we go to the More, we go to Totalitarian Unit Plan. If you just click that link, look at that. We're back to the main page. Once again, I want to thank you all for joining me in this screencast. I hope you're all really excited to begin this unit plan as much as I am, and I look forward to really diving into this new content, answering any questions, and promoting student learning. Thank you.